Welcome to GLS Carriers Presents Team Talk. I'm Ken Cox, and I need a haircut. Today we've got Francis Ham, Kenny Kuntz,
Howdy.
and Dan.
Howdy.
He's kind of a big deal.
Kind of a big deal.
He's a real big deal.
Apparently these guys think I'm a big deal. Kind of like that.
Like D-I-L-L.
Yeah, D-I-L-L, dill pickle.
So this week we had a couple birthdays. Cyrus, and I missed Mark last week. So I want to wish you guys a happy birthday.
Happy birthday, guys.
Happy birthday.
And then we have a couple new drivers, Brian, Larry, and William.
Welcome to the team, guys. Glad to have you aboard.
Most definitely. But that's three. I think that's few,
That's a few.
not a couple.
I did have education from, you know. So, yeah. Dan,
Yes, sir.
what do you do?
Well, I am corporate vice president. I'm in charge of sales and all the big customers. And I travel a lot and go and see customers all over the United States.
You go down into Mexico?
I do not go down into Mexico, no.
No.
Maybe you need to start doing that. You could hit a beach or two while you're down there and kind of enjoy the day.
I'm afraid Greg would never get me back. I'm sitting in Mexico. I mean, I might be in a lot of trouble with work and personal life. Jeez.
So you work with our sister company, Giltner, and you work with us. How long have you been doing this?
So I've been with Giltner for pushing 8 years now. I work with all the three main entities of our corporate divisions, which is Giltner Logistics, GLS Carriers, which is us, and then of course Giltner Transportation. And I'm kind of the wine and dine guy. I go out and meet all the customers. I'm the one that sees our customers face to face. The one that gets to hear when we do an awesome job, which is most of the time. I'm also the one that gets to hear when we maybe have had a few more mess ups than what we should have had.
What would be what's a mess up?
Oh, mess ups, being in transportation, I think everybody's pretty familiar with the term service failures. That's kind of what we call it in our industry. Service failures would be late trucks, no shows, late to pick up, late to deliver, either side, right? Communication is the biggest thing since sliced bread in transportation.
Sure.
The worst thing that we can do is to have our customer call us up and say, "Why is this truck having an issue?" when we don't even know about it. That should never happen. We should be able to corner that and curb that a lot quicker than that. When our customers have to reach out and tell us that we have a problem, then we do. We've got a big problem. We've got a lack of communication, big failure.
You bet. I got a question to ask you here, Dan. So right now you spend a lot of time at corporate offices dealing with different customers, dealing with their departments, down even to the plant levels, dealing with plants and whatnot. What brought you into the career in transportation? How did you start your career? We talk about Drivers4Drivers and, all of us driving and working our way into where we're at. How did your career start in transportation? Because now you're working with customers, but where did you enter at?
Yeah, you bet. That's a great question. So I've got all this gray hair. I mean, I could take off my hat. Well, it's a little grayer. I got a little bit more hair than he's got. Got a little bit of gray in that beard. A little bit. I don't know. A little red hair. So, I learned how to drive truck in a field at 11 years old. My first truck was a cab over 4 and a 5 Brownie. And my grandpa told me, he said, if you can learn how to drive that, he said, you'll be able to drive anything. And I said, well, can you teach me? And he said, you get in that truck and you teach yourself. that's how he taught me everything that I've done mechanically or driven or anything. I mean, I've taught myself everything. You know, I drove for him in the field. I remember the old cassette decks. I mean, this
tracks.
truck didn't have one in it.
Yeah.
So I went to the Radio Shack downtown Buell, Idaho, and I grabbed me a, I don't know, $29.99 special that I don't think it had any bass at all. It was just high treble, you know. And I hooked that up. It had some speakers in the truck, and I hooked that up. And I was young. Back then I was driving around all over the place, all over the farm. You know, when I was young. I went and got that radio, stuck it in, and started playing them old country songs. You know, I mean, high treble. You could hear about anything in that truck. You couldn't hear anything in that truck, might I say? You know, but anyway, you know, I remember doing that, and which was man, a long time ago. A lot of memories, but learned driving truck in the field at 11. I drove truck for him throughout my teenage years, just here and there locally, and then of course he owned a construction company. When I graduated high school, I went on and pulled belly dumps and low boys, hauled equipment here and there, you know. And then of course I had to go get married, and I started long hauling when I was 21 years old with another company that's no longer in business. I long hauled for them for about 3 years of my life, and then of course the wife and I decided to move to North Dakota, and I went to work up there driving truck, and then I actually slowed down a little bit driving truck and started working in shipping at a place called Archer Daniels Midland up there. We crushed vegetable seeds, you know, like sunflower seeds. We crushed them and made, you know, sunflower oil out of them and what have you.
Mm-hmm.
And then I applied for a different job and went to work for Continental Carbonic up in Fargo, North Dakota. And anyway, so that's kind of where I've gone. I cut my teeth in trucking. I've you know, hauled gravel to potatoes. I've been in every state across the country in a truck, and now I do it on a plane, and I go and I see our customers. And I think what makes it kind of cool is I've been on both sides. I see what the customer sees. I understand what they're saying, but at the same time, I can objectively talk to the customer about what the driver sees. And I think that brings a lot of respect to our company here, because each one of us still has our CDLs. Yeah. I'll never let that CDL go. I'll keep it. I see a truck pull out, and I still kind of want to go get in it and just go for a drive.
Sure.
You know?
When you moved back from North Dakota, you opened up your own business too. You had your own trucks.
I did. I got up to 10 trucks, and I actually ended up selling them to the company that we're working for now, and I got a job with Greg and kept on a trucking,
sure,
if you will.
Sure. So when you're out there, and for the driver's perspective too, you know, I mentioned on our last video, I got to spend some time with Tommy, you know, down there in Carthage at the job fair, actually in Joplin, but heard a lot from the driver's point of view. So with you having your own business, running your old trucks and everything else, you really know what it's like to negotiate with a customer and know where those rates need to be and what we need to get to be able to successfully run our owner-operators and be profitable at the end of the day. It's not just a conversation with these folks, but you understand the business.
Yeah. You know, I certainly don't know everything, but, you know, that's why it takes a team to run a company like ours, because none of us know everything, and we all need to be challenged at times. But yeah, I think that's what gives I think that's what gives us the edge, because of our backgrounds. And we've been on both sides, like you. You've been on literally both sides. You've been on the shipping side and you've been on the trucking side.
Yep.
So you kind of see maybe a little bit more than what we do, because I've never, well, I guess I have been on the shipping side with ADM, but not for 30 years.
Sure.
Like
sure.
you have been, you know. And
No, absolutely.
And 30 years, and he's only 28 years old. Weird.
You know, we've talked to these guys about tracking and customers always wanting to know where their loads are and stuff. Is that something that you're selling as a selling point when you're going to these customers?
Yep. I'll never say we won't make a mistake, because this is trucking. There's going to be problems every day. We walk into work every day and there's an issue, but it's how you handle it is what sets us apart and what makes our day good or bad. One of those issues is tracking. And I do. I sell that tracking. And by the way, most reputable companies require it. They require it nowadays. It's not just us doing it anymore. We used to do it just because that was a service, that was an added value that we wanted to give to our customers. You know, 5 years ago, that was an added value. 5 years later, it's required. But that's one of the cool things about our company is we tend to, I don't want to say look into the future, but you know, there's so many of us that have been there, done that. We see where our industry is going, and we can be objective about that, and we can be proactive about it. Yes, instead of reactive. A lot of companies are out there are reactive, and that's terminal there.
Dangerous.
Very
Yep,
dangerous
for sure.
ground.
Yep, for
So
sure.
yes, I mean, to answer your question, absolutely. And we do a great job at it. We spend a lot of dimes, a lot of dollars, a lot of resources to make sure that our customers have that vision into our world, what we see.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that goes along with lots of other things we offer them, like temperature control, knowing what the temp is on the load at all times. That's all part of that tracking deal on all of our reefer units. There's lots of things what are the things that they're looking for? Integrity, honesty. I mean, they look at more than just rates anymore.
KPIs.
Absolutely. This industry is so saturated. You know, a lot of people have become a commodity. A lot of companies have become a commodity. All we have in this industry is service and our reputation. That's it. That's it. This industry does business with friends, people that they know, people that they're comfortable with, people that treat them with respect, honesty, and integrity. And that's what we try to do. We have got customers with us that have been with us for 20 years. You know, I mean, that's kind of unheard of in transportation.
Yeah.
It really is. We're just as dedicated to those customers as they are to us. You know, in the days of COVID, when everything was kind of going south, you know, we had customers that were out there calling us saying, please don't leave us, you know, and we didn't. And we benefited by that, of course, and they benefited by that because they knew that they could count on us, count on our company. Right. And our integrity. And we were there for them. So, yeah, I go and I see our customers, our larger customers, and a lot of those aren't just handshakes. Those are hugs. They're man hugs. I mean, I got to say, I'm not, yeah, they're man hugs. But, yeah, they're close personal relationships, and we want to keep it that way.
Well, and that says a lot about our drivers, right? Because they're the ones that are out there day in and day out, you know, with the shippers and the receivers, and they're representing not only themselves, but they're representing, you know, GLS, or they're representing Giltner, right? And so,
yeah, a smile goes a long ways.
Yep.
You know, I mean, if you get up in the morning and you smile, and you just smile, just because you can. Man, it makes things so much easier. You go into the shipper and you just smile, even though maybe, some shippers might not treat us all the best. But if you go in there with a smile, what difference does it make, right?
Right.
I mean, it's all about how we feel inside, and if we can do our best to make somebody else feel good.
I heard it was you put a smile on your face, you made your bed every day. You can have a good day, right?
Well, yeah. I'm trying to think. I don't think I made my bed this morning.
You probably don't in motel rooms either.
Absolutely. Well, I do too. I ask for housekeeping every day. Is that not making your bed?
What kind of experiences, bucket list type of things you go someplace and you're like, I'm going to go back here when I'm not working?
Yeah. So, there's a few places. Let me start out. When I travel, and I travel a lot, right? This year I've got 100,000 miles already. But I don't necessarily go out and have any fun by myself. I'll go and have dinner with customers, and what have you. But after that, if I'm not doing anything, I don't go see, museums and sites and this and that, because it's just me, and I just go back to my room and work or take a nap, or whatever I feel like at the moment. Usually work. Greg's listening to this, I'm sure. So
I'm sure.
I work a lot, Greg.
We can edit this, right, Dan?
No naps.
But yeah, I don't do too much, but there have been a few places I've gone, and I'm like, you know what? I got to get Christy, which is my other half, and I got to get her to, we'll go see something. We got to travel up to Boston, and she wants to go out to Salem, where the witch hunts were, and
Dun, dun, dun.
dun, 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 and that kind of stuff. I don't look forward to the plane trips because, as you can see, I'm not a svelte guy, so I'm the guy when I get on a plane, everybody's looking at me, God, I hope he doesn't sit next to me. And they don't make eye contact with me, but I make eye contact with them, and I act like I'm going to sit with them, and then I walk on past. And they're like, geez Louise, my gosh, I'm glad he's not sitting by me.
Well, we appreciate
Did that ask or answer you guys' questions?
That was the worst story
Don't
ever.
fly with Dan. We appreciate everything you do for GLS, Dan. Probably don't say it enough, but if it wasn't for guys like you, it'd be hard to.
What's your name?
Yeah, right.
Who are you?
But we do. We appreciate it, and I know it's hard work, and just like our drivers out there, they're all alone too. You go see a customer, you're by yourself as well. It's a rough deal.
It's really cool when and Francis has been with me when we've seen people, and one of our other sales guys that works with me, Brad. He goes with me quite a bit too, and really cool when you see a GLS Carrier's truck or a Giltner truck out there. And I always try to make if they're sitting, if they're driving, of course I'm not gonna, pull up beside them and, but if they're at a shipper or something, I'll go over there and I'll go ask them if they want lunch. What do you want for lunch? I'll buy lunch. And they're like, what in the world? You're wearing a Giltner shirt? And and I will. I'll go get them lunch or get them donuts or.
I'd like a pizza.
Well,
That's right.
go get in the truck. I'll meet you in Carthage, Missouri.
Hey,
I
Francis.
remember we were at a customer's location. We had a meeting with one of our customers. Dan and I were there, and we were at their facility, had a meeting with them, and then it was lunchtime after the meeting. So we thought, hey, let's head on out to the restaurant. Well, coming in, when we turned off the interstate, got on the road, there was a Giltner truck coming out, and it's like, hey, a Giltner truck. That was cool. So we seen that guy go by. We went into the meeting. We finished that. We coming out to go to lunch. And we look, and there's another Giltner truck coming into the lot, and it was a different truck altogether, right? So it's like, man, another Giltner truck. Would be nice to see one of our guys, one of our GLS guys, you know. We go out to lunch, we come back into the yard, and we pull into the yard, and sure enough, Jay Rice is sitting over there in the yard with his truck. And says, hey, GLS truck. So that was cool. So we ended up stopping. We talked with him in just a little bit and stuff. That was pretty cool. You know, it's good to see our guys out there, and it was good to be able to talk to him a little bit. Had he been there a little bit earlier and been available, it'd been nice to grab him and take him to lunch with us, you know. But he wasn't there at that time. But
Sure.
It sure is good to see him out there. We know our guys are out there. They're out in the field. They're taking care of our customers and everything. And it's not very often that we do get to see them out there or hook up with them out there, but when we do, it's a pleasure.
Yeah.
You know, for sure.
Yeah, everybody likes company. Most everybody, I think. I like company. I like to see people. I like people. I like to watch people. I'm that creepy guy in the airport that's watching everybody walk past. Just watching everybody, you know.
That's right.
So I guess brief synopsis. I'm a weirdo, aren't I?
You don't wear flip-flops, do you?
I don't wear flip-flops, no sir. And you don't see these legs uncovered unless you're at my house.
Note to self.
Thanks, Dan. I appreciate you coming in here and spending some time with us today, no doubt. It's always good to be able to share with the team other team members that they don't see all the time, you know? And it takes everybody to make this thing happen. And you're behind the scenes, you know, traveling around doing your thing as they are traveling around doing theirs. But without your efforts out there in the field and communicating with these customers and taking care of these customers, we don't grow as a company.
Yeah.
You know, so it's real imperative that that you're out there doing what you're doing, and you do a great job, and we sure appreciate it.
I appreciate that. I like building these relationships. I like meeting new people. And that's what it's all about. It's a relationship business.
Right.
Yep.
It really is. And there's proof in the pudding.
What can we be doing and the drivers be doing to help you with your job?
Communication.
Communication.
It is what it is, right? There'll always be issues, right? But the more we strive to communicate, over communicate. The more we strive to communicate with our dispatchers and our shippers and our receivers and our customers, the better off we are. So that is the number one key to being successful in this business is communication.
In your perspective, what is the difference in a truck, say a guy's runs into a little bit of weather, or maybe he has a minor breakdown, has a light out or something, and it takes him a little bit of time to fix that. If he's going to be an hour late for his appointment time, what is the difference in a customer's perspective on having that phone call, letting the receiver know that truck's going to be an hour late versus just showing up an hour late?
Yeah, that's a great question, and so you really want to have that phone call, that communication. The driver doesn't just need to call the shipper, because the shipper's going to call their vendor, and then our customer is going to call you, and you're not going to have any idea what they're talking about.
Communication.
Right? Communication. They can call the shipper if they got the number to the shipper, but for gosh sakes, please call dispatch, call the after hours line, call the emergency line, call somebody so we can get around that. Like I say, one of my biggest pet peeves is us getting a phone call from our customer telling us that we have a problem with a truck. That's just us not doing our job, period. And not just dispatch, it's our trucker, it's our trucking company, it's our drivers, it's me, it's everybody. We all look bad. Communicate. Make that phone call.
I wanted to take a second. I wanted to thank everybody In the office, I wanted to thank all the drivers. I've been super busy the last week or two. Everyone's had to pick up a little bit here and there for me. And I haven't got back to some of you guys with some emails and whatnot. And I appreciate your patience. I appreciate you guys waiting on me.
I'm still waiting, by the way.
You're on the list somewhere here. But I wanted to say thank you. I will get back with you on some of those questions and get you guys taken care of. So thanks for that. If there is an emergency, you need something like right away, obviously, give dispatch a call. Kenny's been stepping up a lot, helping me out this week. And so he'll be able to get you taken care of. If it's a accident, they'll reach me on my cell phone and we'll get that taken care of and get through those steps.
And what are you talking about right now? Communication.
Yep, that's right. Communicate.
That's right. Absolutely. We've got warm weather coming on us rather quickly. 2 weeks ago, we were talking about I-80 being shut down in Wyoming and being careful in a snowstorm and whatnot. So this week, we're talking about high temperatures here in Idaho hitting the mid-80s. So quick change. Southern states are going to be hotter yet. Safety-wise, tire pressure. Tires and tire pressure. Make sure that your tires are good. Make sure the pressures are up in them. Nothing worse than the heat on a bad tire and you're sitting on the side of the road. So, that gator, you got guys on motorcycles that are out there sharing the roadways with us and stuff. And, somebody loses a gator and it goes through someone's windshield or hits somebody on a bike or something, that could be really, really bad.
Yes, sir.
So really looking at your tires and making sure they're in good operating condition, you got the proper tread on them, and they're aired to the right PSI will get you down the road and get you safe. If you have any issues with your tires, take pictures and communicate that back to you, Ken, so that we can get that addressed. And again, we want to try to make those repairs in our yard if at all possible. It reduces the cost not only for us but for you, the owner-operator. If it's even on your truck and you want to replace those tires, it's time to do it in-house to where we can save you a lot of money instead of getting it done on the road.
Yeah. Fantastic. Kenny, you got anything you want to add?
No, I think I'm not going to go into the tire deal. I think we were, $60,000-$70,000 last 3 months. So I think we talked about it through a few of these podcasts now, and the guys I think are catching on that it'll save them money, save us money. So
Can I add something on? It's not really a safety point, but. Well,
yes, absolutely, please.
Stand up and leave.
One of the things about customers, and if the customer is actually working on the dock. Now, a lot of times customers aren't working on the docks, the customers that I go see. However, if I'm in an area that we ship out of a lot or ship to a lot, I will go to the actual dock where we're loading or unloading, and I'll take them donuts. I mean, I won't even know these people from Adam, and I'll just take them a bunch of some hats and some pins and some all kinds of stuff, and ask them if they want lunch or something, and I just take care of them. I love to pull up to these docks and see a GLS or a Giltner truck in there that is clean. A clean truck runs better than a dirty truck. I'm sure of it. I'm sure of it, Kenny.
Because of science.
It's science. It's some people say I don't talk Dan yet. I've had customers say, that's okay, you'll learn to talk Dan one day. But it is. It's, and it sets a precedence when we pull up there with a clean truck, clean trailer, good equipment. We get out of the truck. We look good. We smell good. We take care of ourselves. We clean the insides of the trucks. It sets a tone. It takes just a run-of-the-mill carrier, run-of-the-mill trucking company out of the weeds and puts us up on a little bit of a pedestal.
Yep.
You know?
Yep.
And by the way, I'm pretty sure a DOT agent would rather choose that crappy looking truck over there that hasn't been washed in 2 months versus ours.
Yep.
Because they know, well, they're going to be okay.
Agreed.
So look good, smell good, wash your trucks, keep stuff looking good.
Yep.
Because that's us. That's who we are. That's all we have.
Yep. Yep. For sure.
Francis, departing words?
No, just thanks again to everybody for what we're doing out there. I know we have a lot of RFPs and stuff coming through right now. For those of you that don't know what that is, that's when customers come back to us and have us look at lanes and whatnot so we can quote some business. A lot of that's coming through, so we're pretty busy on taking care of that right now, and we're going to continue driving on that. For those of you who've been keeping up with the market, you know the market's kind of a tough market still. There's not a ton of relief in sight, but it is slowly but surely it's going to come crawling out of this thing, and we'll start seeing some better news for everybody here shortly. But for right now, best thing we can do, take care of our customers, run our business. We're still going to do the same thing that we've always done, and we're going to try to pick up some more business for all of us. So I think it's good stuff.
Awesome. Yeah, it's a busy time of year
Yeah.
right now. You bet.
Well, as we end this episode, special thanks to Dan for coming out.
You're welcome. I enjoyed it. This is cool. I think this is great.
Good
I
stuff.
like it. I think your drivers are happy. They like to hear it. We're sending it to some of our customers. Share it.
I need to
Share
learn
it on
to talk
social
much
media.
more gooder.
Say what? It's all fun and games till the banjo starts playing.
We want to thank you for being safe, making the right choices. Remember your eyes and ears on the road. If you see something, say something, and we succeed when you complete your trip safely and you're home with your loved ones.
Absolutely. Thank you.
See ya.
Okay, thank you.